Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many resources that are available in both the public and private sector. And we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we've got a very, very full show today. Rob, we usually have 2 guests. Today we got 3, so we got to get cracking.
We are lucky today. How is it out in California today?
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fall day. I broke my windshield this morning. I got to get a new one, or actually it was the rear of my minivan just shattered it. It's like I'm waiting for number 3. I'm just putting that out there for everybody right now, because we had the accident in August, the broken window in September. What will October bring?
Good fortune.
Oh, it's all
That's
good.
what it'll bring. Brings good fortune.
That's right. Looking forward. That's all we're going to do is look forward. And I'm actually looking forward to today's show. Because we've got, I'm sorry?
I said I got my tea.
You got your tea. I didn't get my tea. I've had my empty coffee thing, and I'm kind of nasty right now because I won't get my coffee till the break. But we have got some great guests today. We've got USA Cares coming on. We've got Rachel Crawford of Teamotions, and then we've got Mark Williams, author of Selling on the Edge, not in that order. And if you're looking at our website, we've got some boo-boos on there, so just ignore it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we had boo-boos, so we'll have to make sure we take care of that.
Oh, maybe we don't. Maybe it's just me being a spaz. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Oh, there we go. I was looking at the wrong page. I'm going home and starting the show over.
Oh my gosh. Well, like I say, you've had quite a day. Thank goodness the kids are okay. We always have these little things, and whether it's a car accident or whether it's just, the tree fall in the wintertime, we're always panicking about a limb falling on a tree. There's a commercial, and I think it's for some auto insurance, and the car just comes, the tree comes right down on the car and just smashes it. And I think, that's a New Englander.
Well, you know what they have out here, Rob, that I get a kick out of. I mean, it's not funny, but it was funny when I saw it. We have avocado trees, and when the avocados get ripe and heavy, they kind of drop like mines, like a grenade, and they come dropping down the tree. And I have seen one go through somebody's front windshield, and it was funny because we're all talking about, why is nobody parked there? And then somebody said, oh, well, look at all the avocados up there. So sure enough, somebody pulls up, parks there. We're still out there chatting like a half an hour later, and boom, there we go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, every region has something weird, something you got to just watch out for, and that's one of them. Yeah. Or I think I'm sure if a coconut were to fall out of a tree or whatever, those are the things that you don't think of in New England.
That's true. You think of snowballs. I hit a police car once with a snowball.
Did
and
you?
I didn't intend to. I was in college.
Oh yeah,
and
right. I bet.
I know. My brother was across the street, and I lobbed one up high. Like, he kept hiding behind the snowbank, so I threw one up high. And just at that point, a patrol car comes over. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" It was like boom, but it just sprayed his wind. There's a little short, officer.
Oh gosh, Sam, that's so funny. Oh, we did some crazy things in college, didn't we? Not that you and I knew each other, but I'm just thinking of our youth and thinking of the things that we would have we got away with, and maybe wouldn't have gotten away with nowadays if we had done them.
It's all good, right? We're looking forward.
Did you ever get a tattoo? Did you ever get a
Did I
tattoo?
ever get a tattoo? I never did. I chickened out. Rick Swanson tried to get me to get a tattoo for 2 years, and I picked out ones. I loved what they looked like, but I kept changing my mind, and so I just
Mhm.
decided to draw on myself with a Sharpie.
Yeah, I think I think that's good. If I were to do one, I think I would probably just do like a henna, something like that. But there was something in Time US this week. Did you see? I don't know if you saw. I forwarded a couple of articles to you that the branches of the service branches are limiting the amounts of tattoos that are visible when someone's in uniform.
Well, that's going to make enrollment hard.
Yeah, because if they've all, that's what I was saying, for these kids that have kind of gone out and got inked all over and then decide they want to enlist, they may have some challenges. And actually the Army is the one that's the most strict as far as their regulations. So it's
So, but they have to leave the existing service people alone, right? These are just for new
I
people.
I guess I didn't read the whole article, but they were saying that the 25% rule, like 25% of your body, is the most that could possibly be inked. And I guess you have even less that can show when you're in the Army. Marines are, it kind of cracks me up to think that the Navy would even have this kind of restriction because whenever I think of the Navy, I think of guys with tattoos all over their arms. So that's kind of my stereotype with the Navy.
Yeah, no, it's 25%, like 25% of skin showing can't be covered by tats. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's saying in the Air Force, this one is, for example, the Air Force, which updated its standards in 2011. Tattoos cannot be excessive, meaning they can't cover more than 20%, 25% of an exposed body part, like a forearm when wearing a uniform. So they can put tats all over their body, all over their bums, all over everything else that they want to, but not something that shows.
Wow,
So.
yeah, because it's like if you're wearing short sleeves, if you're wearing the summer, uniform or something. Well, I guess it depends.
Yeah, I'm sure they're short-sleeved shirts or even some that have them that go up the back of the neck or around their ears and all of those kinds of things that's exposed. So
That's
it's
true, because it's like if we have to have hair off the collar, yeah, it doesn't make sense to have a tat going right up your neck.
yep, that's it. So I guess to all the young people who might be considering joining any of the services, you better be careful when you go to a tattoo parlor.
Yeah, tattoo your butt.
That's right.
Because then you'll make your mom happy. She won't have to look at it and freak out, going, "Oh my God, what did you do to your arm, my baby, my baby?" And that's a direct quote from a military family mom that son came home totally inked.
Oh my gosh. Some of them really are beautiful nowadays. Have you seen that show that they take a bad tattoo and then they redesign it so that
Yeah,
it comes out beautiful?
there's some really nasty looking tats out there when,
I know.
with though I will tell you, I have a great tattoo story, Robin, and it's fast. My girlfriend had a rockin' body when she was in her 20s, and she got Thumper put on her calf, the little bunny
Yeah,
Thumper that,
yeah.
from Bambi. And it was the cutest thing. And everybody's like, oh, we love Thumper. Thumper's so cute.
Yeah.
Well, turning 40, 4 kids later, her calves were a little less firm, and Thumper looked like he had encephalitis. I mean, he had this giant stretched out head because, her calves had gotten bigger. She wasn't, 105 pounds soaking wet. She was about 175 pounds. And she looked normal. I mean,
Yeah.
she wasn't like really heavy. She just wasn't stick thin like we were in our 20s. And a couple kids later, and gravity takes its toll, and Thumper has a head injury.
I guess we don't think of those things when we get them to begin with.
Yeah.
How
I mean,
much
my
your
girlfriend
body
got
can
this
change.
Mexico sun on her belly, and at least that stretched proportionately when she got pregnant.
Hmm. I think some of them are very pretty though. I mean that now that they have those lovely ink colors, I think that makes the difference. You can have a pretty butterfly or you can have things that are a little more colorful and really pieces of art. Not that the blue wasn't nice in when it was done right, but having the pretty colors is really neat.
It is. It is. A certain skin looks better with tats than others. Mine is so milky bone white as it is, but if I had like on my forearm like vampire bite here, because there's a nice big blue vein. But see, my tattoos would all be funny, and people would be like, "They're not sexy, they're not pretty." Bite here just doesn't cut it.
Oh, I never did. I never did get any, and I think if I were to do anything, I would probably just do a henna. I don't think that I could do it for real, but it's nice when I have seen some people who do their wedding bands with a tattoo, and so that's kind of
I've seen rings on fingers, rings on toes, it's all good.
Yeah, very interesting. But I just thought the article was kind of interesting that because in a business environment, you certainly don't need to have a lot of different colors showing. So I guess the military is no exception. So
that's true. Yeah. I'd like to see a priest like with a bunch of tats,
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody somewhere.
And they probably do, but see, that's why they wear all those robes. They probably do.
Or maybe a rabbi tats.
Yes, and that's another reason for all of the clothing, I guess, huh? Oh gosh,
we pretty much accomplished nothing. This opening segment is goofy.
Well, like I said, I did have a couple of articles, but there you go. That's it. We are getting close to the break, Sandra, and we have Mark Williams coming up. I'm really looking forward to chatting with him. Mark Williams is the author of Selling on the Edge, and he's a delightful person to listen to. I can't wait for everybody to meet him. He has sold homes in Los Angeles for over 13 years and is not only well known and well respected among his clients and peers, but he also prides himself on being known as one of the most fun residential real estate agents in Southern California. And isn't that the truth? We are so excited to have Mark John Williams with us today, Selling on the Edge, in just a few moments here on Military Mom Talk Radio. So you want to stay tuned. Don't go away. Get a cup of tea. We'll be right back.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Why is religion such a thorny issue in our society and the world? And why has religion often become a source to divide people rather than unite? Frank Talk with Dr. Ejaz is a forum for civil dialogue on religion and wellness on TogiNet Radio. Dr. Ejaz Naqvi invites leaders and activists from all walks of life and faith to engage in a civil discussion on religion and current events. Join us for Frank Talk with Dr. Ejaz every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on the TogiNet Radio Network.
Are you happy with your life? Satisfied with the direction you're taking? More importantly, are you content with the results you're seeing? Then Success Profiles Radio is the program for you. Join host Brian K. Wright as he talks to experts in many areas relating to life success, including expertise in leadership, business, relationships, careers, networking, health, overcoming adversity, and much more. Each week, we'll explore different aspects of success and how to apply them to your life. For more on Brian and the show, check out his website, briankwright.com. Each week is a dose of inspiration. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. Success Profiles Radio is a show that will clearly demonstrate the principle, if I can do it, you can do it. So don't miss this opportunity to take control of your life and your results. Success Profiles Radio with Brian K. Wright, Mondays at 5 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network.
We'll put a boot in your ass, it's in
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, Military Moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we actually have some meat, some content, some stuff to go over, much not like our opening segment where we talked about tattoos. But Rob, that was really fun.
Oh, I know it was, but it's very pertinent because we definitely have a lot of people who are looking into getting inked. So food for thought.
We do. Well, speaking of fresh ink, we've got a new book hot off the press. And because so many of our real estate families work in real estate, military families, Rob, it's so interesting to me because so many of our military families, especially the military spouses, choose to do virtual assistant work, which is, working from home on their computer. They support real estate agents around the country. And it's a great gig for moms and for military wives and military families because they can kind of transfer those skills just by moving their license.
Sure.
Our guest today, Mark John Williams, has written a book called Selling on the Edge. And even though you might not be in real estate if you're listening in, it's a great sales book. It's got a lot of great information in there, and it's very realistic and timely. So I'm really happy that he's coming on today, Rob. How about you?
Absolutely. And I think his thoughts and his whole energy transcends beyond real estate. So we'll have to definitely talk to him about that. Mark, are you with us?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now we can. Hello, Mark.
All right. Rob Dino and Sandra Beck. I mean, what an honor to be here and chatting with the famous Military Mom Radio.
See, that's why we have you on. You can compliment us, tell us we look good, the whole thing. Mark, why don't you tell our listeners in a nutshell, what is Selling on the Edge about? We know it's a sales book, we know it's real estate, but it goes much, much deeper than that.
Yeah, great. I'd love to. It's, the title of the book just got released on Amazon today. It's called Selling on the Edge. It's 10 things every new real estate agent should know. And I created this book out of 10 years of frustration and a lot of crash and burns and failures. And it hit me one day that the training was lacking. And when the market tanked, a lot of coaches went south. And I just love teaching, and that my passion has shifted into teaching. So I figured, I might as well put my money where my mouth is. And I came up with a system that I used, and I started helping other agents just because I like teaching. And then a lot of them said, well, you should really go around the country and share this. And I started doing that. And then the book came out, and here I am. So it's really for new agents, anybody who's in their first couple of years, anybody who's been doing it for maybe a while and is struggling. And it's just 10 things that if I'd have known 15 years ago when I got started, it just would have saved me a decade of headache, and I would have made a lot more money. So it's a great, I'm really proud of it. It's got a lot of depth, and it's getting great reviews, and I'm grateful to a lot of people that helped me put it together.
Mark,
now, you actually wrote this book yourself. Oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Mark, what sets you apart? Why is your philosophy different than maybe some other people who have said that they've got the surefire sales technique?
Robin, that's the $1 million question that everybody asks. So I was waiting for somebody to hit me with that. My system is really the biggest difference. It allows you to get to real clients faster than any other system out there. So when I was new and starting, I would waste so many years with these looky-loos and time wasters. And, we used to joke and call them Timmy Time Waster and Linda Looky-Loo and Kenny No Dough, people with no money. And I'm like, how can I come up with a great system where we can find out who's real and who's not right away so we don't waste our time running around town with these people that are never, ever going to buy or sell. And it was just kind of like, imagine having an Easter egg hunt and you knew where all the eggs were. That's the difference. Selling on the edge will get you to the real clients faster, and that's the big difference.
So, Mark, you wrote this book yourself, and most business books are written by ghosts and ghostwriters, but you actually did this.
Yeah, I've been selling real estate. I've been in the trenches, so a lot of books and that I read were written by great writers or great trainers, but they never had any like real world experience. So I would try their stuff, and I would have other people try with me. We'd all, we'd go to seminars, and a lot of this stuff didn't work. So out of frustration, I started doing things my own way, and that's when it really started to take off. So I realized I had to write the book myself, come up with the material myself, and that way when I teach it, it's authentic. And that's the heart of this system. It's about being authentic and real. So there are no scripts. That's one of the biggest differences. On top of that, it's going to help you find real clients faster than anything else out there. There's a tangible difference that you would relate to. There's no script. I mean, how exciting is that? You don't have to sit open houses if you don't want to. How great is that if you're a realtor? Because every real estate agent hates open houses. So I came up with a system with no scripts, no open houses, no like ticky-tacky stuff with the emails, calendar, mailers, the drip campaigns. I got rid of all that crap and came up with a system that's real and authentic and that buyers and sellers just go crazy about because it comes from trust and honesty, and the result is more sales in less time and, quite frankly, like a better life.
Mark, how do you find the people who are interested? Do you seek them out, or are people just knocking down the door right now, trying to get you to come and speak at seminars and whatnot?
They're knocking down the door, Robin. I'll be honest with you.
That's fantastic.
They are. They're knocking down the door, and I'm not like a trained trainer. But because I love what I do and it's my material, I can translate it better than, say, a typical coach who's, maybe had somebody else come up with the stuff for him or her, or a coach that's never been in the business before. Because there's a lot of, there's just so many people that get into coaching, and that's why I've got great feedback, because I've actually been in the trenches. I have some reputable clients, and I've paid my dues, so to speak. So I am excited because I do have a lot of things going on out there. I'm grateful that companies like Keller Williams, I don't know if I can say that in the air, but Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, a lot of these companies. Yeah, they're all, I'm helping them help their agents, and that to me is like, I'm living the dream. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, and this isn't for like these books out there, like there's all those like millionaire, be a millionaire, make $1 million in real estate. This isn't for those type of people. Who is this book for?
Yeah, no, that was another thing, and Sandra actually helped me with that, because I wanted to come up with a system that was realistic, and so many systems out there were bogus. It's not the word I want to use, but I'm on the radio, so I'll say bogus. And, for example, it would say, make $1 million selling houses. And it was just systems and steps that were next to impossible to do unless you were, one out of 1,000 people with a lot of money in your pocket and you could afford to do certain things and hire certain people. So I wanted to come up with something, just the nuts and bolts, like simplest program that anybody could use to sell houses. So what it is are 10 things, but it's disguised as 6-step selling system, just 6 simple steps, and then it has a foundation, which I call the 4 cornerstones. that'll keep you grounded, basic fundamental stuff. But the 6 steps are simple things like be yourself, get out there, and we elaborate on that in the book. But I think, Robin, you asked me, how do I get clients? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't stuck in the question. I just get so excited I forget what people ask me. So I'm new at this radio stuff. But how do we talk about passion arenas as opposed to traditional selling says go out and do open houses and, go to network meetings at 7 a.m., rah, rah, rah. Well, that stuff is really a bummer if you're not a morning person, or I didn't want to work on Sundays. I hated working Sundays. So I came up with a program. How could I find clients without working on Sundays? Simple. I started going to events that I liked going to, and they became what I call passion arenas. And, for example, I played on a hockey team once a week. And I would just go to that, and I never realized it, but all of a sudden I started getting clients for my hockey team. So I'm like, well, wow, why don't I add another passion arena, which for me happened to be volunteering at a Boys and Girls Club. So I started volunteering at a Boys and Girls Club. I would never discuss real estate or my job. I would just go there because I enjoyed kids. And next thing I know, I was getting clients from the Boys and Girls Club. And then I added a 3rd passion arena and a 4th. And this was, a total of 8 hours a week with really developing relationships first, and then selling houses came second. And that's the big difference with my system, too, is we don't focus on sales. We focus on relationships. And out of that, you're going to get a lot of sales without even telling people you're a realtor. It's funny, but it works amazing.
Mark, that really, I think that is just a wealth right there, that whole philosophy. We have to say goodbye for now, Mark. Selling on the Edge, and we can find that on Amazon. We can also find more on your website, sellingontheedge.com. And I encourage everybody to read it, even if real estate isn't where you're heading, because I think your philosophy, Mark, transcends to any kind of business or entrepreneur. So we really are appreciative that you came and visited us today. Thanks so much.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd, and we'll be right back after these.
Have you been laid off, fired, downsized, right-sized, or re-engineered out of a job? Are you unemployed or anticipate that possibility? Then tune in for Successfully Unemployed, hosted by Alan Sherwood, MBA, president of Sherwood Consulting Service. Successfully Unemployed will provide you a hope-filled and comprehensive approach to the job search process from an author who's experienced it all. Alan and his guests will cover all dimensions of a job search: physical tasks, mental attitude, emotional health, even one's spiritual perspective. All must be integrated in order for a person to be successfully unemployed so they can then be successfully employed. This show is designed to help you move forward from job loss to finding or creating more fulfilling work. For more on Alan Sherwood, MBA, and the show, check out his website, successfullyunemployed.com. Then join us for Successfully Unemployed with Alan Sherwood, MBA. Thursday nights at 8, 7 Central here on TogiNet.com.
Do holidays and celebrations get you down and leave you feeling frazzled? Then join Sandy Fowler and her guests on Heart-Filled Holidays every Monday at noon, 11 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Sandy will help you discover the secrets to having the celebrations you've always dreamed of while adding fun and meaning to your life. From Valentine's Day to Christmas to special family events, Sandy Fowler will show you how to put the fun and meaning back into those special days by taking a look at what we can do to turn the upcoming holidays into cherished memories and show us how to allow it to intertwine with everyday life. For more on the show, Sandy, and to receive Sandy's Holiday Happiness booklet, go to heartfilledholidays.com. Then get set to discover the secrets to creating happy holidays and happy everydays by joining Sandy Fowler and her guests on Heart-Filled Holidays every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time on TogiNet.com.
'Cause there ain't no doubt.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, Military Moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and our guest was Mark John Williams of sellingontheedge.com, just how it sounds. And Rob, I just wanted to take a second and talk to our listeners about why we keep pushing real estate and talking about real estate on the show. I'd love to encourage military moms to become real estate agents for two reasons. One, I don't think there's enough real estate agents out there that understand the specific needs of the military family. You know, it's like either PCS moves to, 2 weeks to get your kids in school, the knowledge of putting somebody into a military family friendly neighborhood. You know, that did not happen with the military people in my neighborhood. I'm like their only military friend. It's tough. And there's a real market out there for somebody specializing, especially if you decide to make your permanent residence outside your last post. I think there's a real opportunity for men and women who were prior military, especially those who've been moving, throughout their career, to have a real estate career, because I'll tell you, family after family tell me, unless they use like somebody like Go Army Homes, which is a specific company dedicated to the military family, they have a real hard time with the buying and selling of homes and getting themselves in the right area when their real estate agent isn't military. And God, our military moves so much. It's a real need.
It sure is. And it is harder and harder for a young couple to get started. So I'm glad that there are places like Go Army Homes. But you're right. They have a specific targeted audience, and I think there needs to be more. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely, especially and be versed in the military benefits, for first-time home buyers and repeat home buyers, because many real estate purchases are done with your military benefits, and that's not a one-time, one-shot thing. I think most family members, when I talk to them about that, they think, oh, well, I already used my benefits once, I can't use it again. Correct. That is not true.
I was just so glad that my son-in-law and my daughter were able to utilize their benefits, but also had somebody up in Vermont who really did know the whole ins and outs of it. So you're right, Sandra. I do encourage everybody, and Mark's book is a good place to start, and we hope that to have a lot more things to help people make those decisions along the way. We've got a lot more to the year, a lot more guests to come up. So
that's right. So you want to bring on our next guest? We'll take turns. I'll behave.
Okay. Well, this is I'm a tea drinker, so I'm really excited to meet Rachel Crawford. She's a 33-year-old military spouse, a mother, an entrepreneur, and aspiring revolutionary who, along with her sister, founded Teamotions, an emotional well-being company that specializes in blending adaptogen herbs with tea to support emotional wellness and healing. Who doesn't feel better after a cup of tea?
Yeah, especially a tea full of stuff that we need, like adaptogen. No, just kidding.
Rachel, welcome to Military Mom Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me. You described it perfectly. That was an excellent job.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm so excited to hear about your company. I'll tell you, we both Sandra and I have been entrepreneurs, and we have started small, and we've worked very hard to make successes of the things that we have done. Tell us about Teamotions and how this all began for you, and I guess your sister, right? You've done this together all the way?
Correct. We have. We started out together, and we've stayed together. A lot of people told us to be careful, starting business with your family. But for her and I, it's been one of the best things that we've ever done. So we've been blessed in that respect. But, Teamotions is one of those companies that you could never have seen coming. I had a tragic event happen in my life. My twin baby daughters passed away a couple weeks after they were born in 2008. So I found myself be a grieving mother, and I was grasping at straws and searching for things for myself to help myself get through. And long before my daughters ever passed away, I was a tea lover, a tea enthusiast truly. And after they passed away, tea was something that I gravitated to quite naturally. It's warm and soothing and delicious and quiet, and it was just, something I really leaned on at that time. And my sister came to visit me to check on me, and she said, I wish there was something we could put in your tea that would make you feel better. And it was sort of that light bulb moment where I thought, I'm going to look for it, and if it doesn't exist, we're going to create it. We're going to create tea that actually makes you feel emotionally better. And after about a year's worth of research and consulting and reading and searching, we developed 6 teas that are blended with adaptogen herbs that actually have the ability to foster emotional well-being and foster healing. And we decided to launch them because I thought I can't be the only person who needs these. There has to be other people than me who are searching and looking for something to help support their emotional well-being. And so we started a business.
Well, see, and I think that's so important what you guys are doing, because I have had my kids, I have 2 little boys, and they've had one has had antibiotics once in his life, and we've done everything we can naturally where we can, and we use a lot with nutrition, and my friend's a doctor in naturopathic medicine, and we have a Chinese herbalist, that helps. It's amazing what a cup of tea with the right composition can do to not only change your mood, but change your physical well-being. I mean, I just don't think people really recognize the power of a cup of tea in many, many respects.
Right. Well, it's combining 2 very important aspects. It's one, understanding that there are really effective and remarkable herbs out there that have a profound effect on both your emotions and your physical health. And we're working really hard to educate people on how much our physical body and our emotional well-being are connected. You can't really separate them out. You can't just treat the body. You can't just treat your emotions and your feelings. You have to treat them all as a whole because they all work together. But also understanding the power and the importance of beneficial rituals, that a cup of tea is more than just consuming water that's been steeped in tea and herbs. It gives you an opportunity to take a time out, to actually pause for a minute, to check in with yourself, to ask yourself, how am I really feeling, and what is it that I really need, and how will I go about getting what it is that I need? Because most people rarely stop and actually ask themselves what's wrong. So when you combine that ritual with the beneficial medicinal properties of the herbs, it's a double whammy. Like, you really just can't lose. And we're working very hard to educate people on the importance of not only using natural sort of alternative methods, and we, as a company, we have, we do not take a stance on prescription medication. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and I'm in no way, diminishing the importance of prescription medication. But for me, in my life at that time, I felt like that wasn't the right path for me, and I wanted to explore other options first. And so as a company, we really try to just give people another option, something else that they might be able to do, and combine that ritual with the medicinal benefits of the herbs for a total body, total emotional care. And it makes a huge difference. Just throwing back a medicine is not what heals us. You have to really look inside and figure out what it is that you need, and then formulate a plan to go and get what you need so that you can heal.
I'm almost overwhelmed with thinking of the research that had to go into developing this. Where did you begin? I mean, I'm sure that you probably had a naturopathic attitude to even go in this direction. But how do you begin researching these kinds of herbs, and how far across the globe did you go to get these answers?
At first I was overwhelmed myself, and I was blessed because I was raised in Southern California, where alternative medicine has a lot more of a cultural stake, so it wasn't so far outside of the box for me. But to be honest, I literally started by going to the library and pulling out the oldest, biggest books I could find and flipping through, and I looked at Chinese herbalism, naturopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, holistic perspectives on health, Ayurvedic medicine, like Indian health practices, Western medicine. I looked at anything I can get my hands on. I looked at herbs and teas and vitamins. I specifically researched different minerals and different vitamins and anything, really, truly anything. Anyone who would give me 10 minutes of their time, any doctor, chiropractor, surgeon, herbalist, you name it, I would pick their brain. And over time, I just started building sort of this arsenal of information. And when I stumbled upon adaptogen herbs, it was sort of that light bulb moment again, where I thought, this is what needs to be in the tea. You know, these herbs they seem new to us because from a Western medicine perspective, they're kind of just hitting the mainstream market. But in reality, they're not new at all. They've been used around the world for 10,000 years. And there's tons of scientific study done on adaptogens. During the Cold War, a bunch of Soviet scientists were sent out to find natural herbal medicines that they could give to Olympians during the Olympics so that they could beat the United States during the Cold War. They wanted natural substances that would give the Soviet Olympians an edge, but that would be legal and wouldn't disqualify them from competing in the Olympics. And so when the Iron Curtain came down and all of these studies came out, we just found decades upon decades of research on adaptogen herbs, things that are still used today by Olympians and all kinds of people and have been used by other cultures for thousands of years before then. So these aren't, strange, new experimental herbs. They're well-documented and well-researched herbs. And that's another thing that makes them a wonderful addition to the tea is that they truly are effective. They're really,
This is
good.
so fascinating.
And we blend them in these award-winning flavor profiles, so they're really delicious. You don't have to give up your delicious tea to enjoy the medicinal.
I know, isn't it true? Sometimes some things that are good for you aren't necessarily the tastiest. Rachel, we're going to close out this segment. I want to make sure everybody has your website because I'm sure this is the first place to go to purchase your teas, which is teamotionstea.com, and that's TeaMotionstea.com. Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rachel. We're so excited to try your teas, and I hope everybody goes out and checks it out. Rachel, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Are you happy with your life? Satisfied with the direction you're taking? More importantly, are you content with the results you're seeing? Then Success Profiles Radio is the program for you. Join host Brian K. Wright as he talks to experts in many areas relating to life success, including expertise in leadership, business, relationships, careers, networking, health, overcoming adversity, and much more. Each week, we'll explore different aspects of success and how to apply them to your life. For more on Brian and the show, check out his website, briankwright.com. Each week is a dose of inspiration. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. Success Profiles Radio is a show that will clearly demonstrate the principle, if I can do it, you can do it. So don't miss this opportunity to take control of your life and your results. Success Profiles Radio with Brian K. Wright, Mondays at 5 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Why is religion such a thorny issue in our society and the world? And why has religion often become a source to divide people rather than unite? Frank Talk with Dr. Ejaz is a forum for civil dialogue on religion and wellness on TogiNet Radio. Dr. Ejaz Naqvi invites leaders and activists from all walks of life and faith to engage in a civil discussion on religion and current events. Join us for Frank Talk with Dr. Ejaz every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on the TogiNet Radio Network.
We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and a statue of liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Red, white, and blue.
Hey, Rob, isn't it amazing? Oh, sorry. I didn't realize we were back on the air. I was like,
yes,
hey,
I know. Hi. Yes, it is amazing. What were you going to say? Amazing about tea. You're going to talk a little bit more about tea?
I was going to bring up, like, I know we were really fast, that segment went so fast, we'll have to have them back. But the thing about tea is, like, you can't rush tea. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to make the hot water and then you got to let it, kind of seep a little bit to get the tea really good. And, versus, like, when we're talking about, no judgment, like taking a pill, whatever, is very fast, and I'm the big, like, a leave gulper with my headaches. But like, when I have a thing of tea, it's like I have to sit down, I have to wait for it. It's too hot, so you can't gulp it down really fast. Do you know what I mean? It's like it forces you to slow down.
It is, and I think tea has always been a ritual. Even in the ancient generations, it was always a ritual, whether it was tea time in the afternoon in England or we're talking way back in China. Tea is a ritual. It's not just somehow coffee goes down a lot faster than a cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a sipper. I like to have, but I like to relax with a cup of tea or even a cup of coffee. I love to have, and I'm not a big coffee drinker. I like cafe au lait, or I like my, silly little coffee drinks.
Yes.
But it makes a difference.
It does make a difference. And I'm just so glad to hear that she put so much research into finding the herbs to enhance the tea, because certainly we know about green teas and the antioxidants and all of those kinds of things, but to take it to the next level really was pretty fascinating. I love hearing about companies like that. I think it's fascinating.
Me too.
Yeah.
We found our guest.
We did. We were having a little trouble. Sometimes the phones are a little bit difficult. So we definitely have our guest now. We have David Kiplinger with us, and he is from USA Cares, and their goal is to help military families restore financial stability and self-sufficiency by giving them a hand up. And they strive to reach families at the earliest stages of intervention to prevent further financial distress and suffering, especially for the combat injured and their families. Welcome, David. We're so glad you could join us today on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Well, thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Now, I know that there are an awful lot of companies that say that they're going to help a military family here and there, but tell us a little bit about your company, in that you have not been in business really all that long. This is all post 911, is that correct?
That's true. We've started in 2003, right outside Fort Knox, Kentucky. And we do the post 9/11 service members, veterans, and their families, and we help them with 4 core programs: our combat injured, our jobs assistance, emergency assistance, and housing assistance. And would you like me to go into detail about those?
A little bit, yeah, because each of those components sound like they're almost separate little companies in and of themselves. Do they work somewhat independently, or do you have one sort of I don't want to say a caseworker, but sort of a mentor that starts a family out and then dips into all of these areas that they might need assistance in?
Well, each soldier or sailor out there has their own certain need to say whether they needed some PTSD treatment, whether they're looking for a job, whether somebody's cutting off their lights or towing their car down the street. Evicting them from their house. So what we do is they can come online to usacares.org and fill out the application. At that point, a triage person will assess to make sure of what their need is and forward the ones that qualify to our guidelines to the caseworkers. The caseworkers will go over, depending on what their actual situation and need is, and help them with their particular instance. If they have, not got to pay corrected and they're behind behind on something because the military didn't pay them on time, let's say.
Right.
Then there's going to be a gap, several weeks, maybe months, before they end up getting their pay fixed. Who's going to pay their bills? We sure don't want them on the street. So
Right.
that's where USA Cares can jump up and take care of those bills, pay the creditors for them, keep them from losing their house, their car, keep food on the table, the lights on. Say if they're coming back from overseas, a lot of them are National Guard and reservists and don't have a job to come back to. That's a bad problem we have. So we have about 600 employer partners connected to our Jobs Assistance Board that they look for jobs. If they happen to need some assistance getting to an interview, because without the interview you're not getting the job, we'll make sure that they get to those interviews. Send them fuel cards, put them in a cab. I even flown a person to a job interview.
Wow.
Because if somebody's offering you $100,000 a year 3 states away, but you don't have the money to relocate to that job or get to the interview, nobody wants to give that up. So we're there for that. We do help with relocation for getting tools, child care assistance. There's a lot of different things with jobs assistance that we can really help with there. Like we've already talked about emergency assistance and housing. We've saved more than 7,000 homes in the last 10 years that we've been awake, and moving forward here, we've paid out more than $10 million in grants, not loans.
Oh, my word.
Everything that we do is built on grants, not loans. Nobody ever has to pay anything back.
That was one of my questions.
Post 9/11, have a post 9/11 service members, veterans, anybody that has served honorably since 9/11, 2001 to today, that has a financial need that was caused by a military hardship. Now, another thing with the combat injured, I have a lot of veterans coming back that will get out of the military with PTSD or some other combat injured related things. Sometimes their spouse has to give up their job to stay home and take care of them, become what we call a fiduciary, somebody that takes care of them, pays their bills. With that kind of loss of income, when they have to quit their job, that might be something also that we could help with until they get back on, maybe he or she gets, their bills caught back up, finds a job, gets things organized. Now, we're not designed to be there month after month after month for years. We're kind of there to give you a hand up and have a lot of different ways that we can go about that.
Where, if these are grants, not loans, you must need to have some kind of fundraising element in your establishment. How do you get the funding for all of these grants that you're giving out?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We do actually have, a lot of grateful Americans out there just willing to donate some money. And we turn around and put about somewhere between 82 and 85 cents of every dollar back into our service members and veterans. On top of that, we've got a lot of nice corporate donors and sponsors out there that do the same thing. We also do the fundraising. Volunteers can also come to our website and apply. And without volunteers, it makes it really hard to move forward. Volunteers are always gratefully appreciated. We do things like bowl-a-thons, and we just had a run last Saturday here around Radcliffe, and starting chapters all throughout the United States where people can volunteer and do some of these fundraising type things in different states. And fundraising is a big thing. Without the funds, we can't really move forward.
Sure. We probably don't have too much more time, but you're mentioning chapters. Does each chapter work independently, or do you have one sort of corporate office, if you will, even though it's volunteer based, that then serves each chapter as it's needed?
Well, right here in Radcliffe, Kentucky, we have the national headquarters, and we've just recently started adding different chapters throughout the United States. We've got several, 6, 7, 8 now. We continue to grow. From those chapters, they do have branches that start growing out also. We're trying to raise awareness and get more public knowledge out there. Instead of putting millions of dollars into advertising on TV and so forth, we'd rather put that money back into our veterans. And starting chapters throughout the United States is just a great way to get that out there, get the public involved, get the support.
That's wonderful. And I see
And
Colorado, Florida, Kentucky, Michigan, Missouri, Southern Illinois, and Texas are specific chapters right now. And I'm sure you have more that are joining each day. I hope, anyway.
yeah, yes, ma'am. Always trying to get more volunteers and more chapters built.
What is the proportion of volunteers that you have? You must have a huge volunteer base.
Well, that is something we're trying to go over. If a person goes online and hits the volunteer application, comes right in here,
Mm-hmm.
we do the question and answer with them, get them all trained up and so forth, and see what their skill sets are, get them moving forward as a volunteer, whether it's as chapter president or maybe they just want to do something locally, helping out with runs or bowl-a-thons or golf scrambles or anything like that. We do have quite a few volunteers, and the more the better, really.
Oh, I'm certain of that. I work for a volunteer organization myself, and it's true. The more volunteers you have, all of a sudden, lots of powerful things happen. It's amazing that you have done so much in the short amount of time. We just have about a minute left, and I want to make sure everybody knows to go to usacares.org. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And you can also give us a call at 800-773-0387. We are on East Coast time, normally from 8 to 4:30, 8 to 5 o'clock, 800-773-0387. Applications can be filled out online at usacares.org.
That's fantastic. David Kiplinger, thank you so much for joining us. What a wonderful cause, and we do hope more and more chapters are going to be popping up soon. What a great need and what a great service you're providing us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Take care. We hope all of you will join us next week. We've got another great lineup for you. If you've missed any of this show, be sure to find us at militarymomtalkradio.com. Do check us out on Facebook. We're always getting more and more news coming in through our Facebook page, so check us out there too as well. Have a great week, everyone. See you next week.